Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Everything, etc. I'm your host, Shaman Shan, and today, for episode 9 of the podcast, I'm joined by Mr. Ben Fowler himself. How are you, Ben?
I'm great, Shaman. How are you?
I'm good. It's very good to have you on.
I'm so excited to be on. So excited.
I'm very excited too. We had a bit of a struggle finding
Yeah.
This is our studio. What do you mean?
It's a bit of a journey. Bit of a journey to find a room, but we made it.
We have made it.
We're here.
It's going to be good. We've had some good talks coming up here too.
Yes, we've warmed up in the car.
Yeah.
We've got some questions bubbling about.
Some interesting perspectives that we're gonna talk about today.
We're gonna hop on them real quick.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
You know, to start off, we were talking about it just before actually.
Yeah.
Thought it'd be a good place to start. We talked about a lot of what ifs, or like what would you have?
Yeah.
Questions, and honestly, you'd think they were surface level answers, but Ben got pretty hypothetical and intellectual about these answers. So we're gonna start off. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Yeah. See, it's a tough one. There's so many to choose from. See, I'm thinking telepathy, because when you can. What is telepathy?
Isn't telepathy reading someone's mind?
Is it reading someone's mind?
Yeah. But what if someone's like crazy and they're thinking about freaky stuff and you don't want to
communicate thoughts directly? Yeah.
Do you really want to see what they're thinking?
See, I don't know. Maybe telekinesis is a better answer. You know, controlling things with your mind, like inanimate objects. You could just like make a cup come towards you, just like. It's convenient, right?
False.
But also, there's also an aspect of convenience in teleportation, right? Just getting anywhere you want to be, you know, like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's my answer, is teleportation. Just to save, because time is valuable, and to save time and convenience and money, teleportation.
That's the same as me. I want to save time, so I'd say super speed, because you can like slow time down, right? And get where you want to really fast. That's honestly the best superpower I can think of.
Yeah.
But we've got 3 big topics we're going to talk about today.
3 big topics.
3 big topics. We're talking about movies. We're talking about a little bit of sitcoms in there. How I Met Your Mother.
Yes, sir.
Specifically.
Favorite show.
Ben's got big perspectives in that.
Hell yeah.
And a little bit of Adolescence in there too. And then we're going to be talking about crime. Because Ben has a interesting take on all this.
Yeah. I've been reading up about crime a lot lately. It's a bit of an interest for me.
I feel like lately has been like forever. To start off, we did this on a previous podcast too, but your top 3 favorite movies, what would they be?
Top 3 favorite movies. Well, you know, in no particular order, I'd say Interstellar's got to be up there.
Everyone says Interstellar.
It's just the movie.
Actually, that is true.
Genuinely, like,
it's pretty good.
Every time you watch it, it gets you. Like,
I don't think it's as good as The Prestige.
The Prestige. See.
Or Tenet. I really like Tenet.
Tenet's good. Tenet's confusing.
I know. I still don't get it.
I've only seen The Prestige once, and the plot twist really got me. Go watch it if you haven't. But I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. I think Interstellar is just the best Nolan film.
Actually,
like,
that is.
It's just hands down. You know.
It is pretty good. Hands down.
Hands down.
On the table. Sit down.
Table. Hands not up, down.
Yeah. It's Interstellar.
Interstellar. In no particular order.
Yeah.
Interstellar. I'd have to say Before Sunrise. It's part of a trilogy. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah, with Ethan Hawke
and Julie Delpy, directed by Richard Linklater. It's the second. I'm pretty sure it's the second movie in the trilogy. It's solely based on dialogue. There's no real plot that happens, except it's a romance. I mean, obviously.
Oh, there's no plot?
No, well, not really. The plot is that these 2 people meet 9 years later after they've spent a night spontaneously in Vienna or Prague or something. And they agreed to meet 1 year after the first meeting, but they didn't. And 9 years later, they ended up running into each other in Paris, right? So they spend a day together spontaneously in Paris and, you know, recap all their relationships. And it's so raw and so human that, you know, you really just get lost in their stories and how human experiences have really affected them. Like, it's not a movie, it's a life experience kind of thing.
Well, it's like documenting something realistic.
Yeah, almost. The whole script, it was all scripted. There was no improv.
Yeah.
But it feels so authentic and genuine that you can really connect with these characters. And I think having a movie based on solely dialogue is so bold from a filmmaker's perspective, because you never go into a movie thinking, oh, I don't want a plot, I just want dialogue, right? But it works so well that it was genuinely life changing. Like I was at a point in my life when I first watched it. I was in a point in my life where I was a bit confused about where I was going and like what kind of my purpose is. It's a bit deep, but like what my purpose is.
No, this is why we watch movies,
exactly,
right? Yeah.
Exactly. It's a different perspective on life from any part of the world, but it's still related to me. I related to it so much, and yeah, I mean, it genuinely moved me. So I think that's got to be in my top 3.
Yeah.
Before Sunrise.
So before Sunshine, Interstellar, I might know your third one already.
What do you reckon my third one is?
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I think that's got to be high.
You always told me that's like your favorite movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good, honestly. I think it's the best editing I've seen in a film. And the story is just it's so awesome. Like, you've seen it, right?
I haven't seen it. No, I've only heard it from you. I've never seen it.
Oh, no, Jim Carrey his acting is perfect.
I love Jim Carrey, though.
Like, he doesn't just do comedies. He does, like, he's still funny in the movie, but he's so skilled in acting, and he's had a lot of experience, and you can really tell from his earlier, like, comedic stuff, like, what's that one called? The Mask.
Oh, I love that.
Like, all that. Yeah, it's pretty good. But, like, Eternal Sunshine, it's such a change of pace for him. And he executes it really well. And also, the supporting actors, awesome. There's Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, Mark Ruffalo's in it?
Yeah, that one blonde girl, I can't remember her name. And then, like, Elijah Wood, all them. They give good performances, and they really add to the story. So I think you should definitely give it a watch.
But it's not your third movie.
It'd be like top 10. Top 10. Yeah, I'd say like 7th.
Ooh, 7th is crazy.
5th to 7th.
Okay, that's fair.
My third one, I'm going to go to my comfort movie.
Yeah.
This is I've watched this movie so many times. It's always a feel good whenever I'm feeling down. Even if I'm not feeling down, I just want, a good movie to watch.
Yeah.
In Time, with Rachel McAdams and that one guy's name.
Oh, yes.
In Time.
I know that one. She wears that red dress in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the poster on Netflix.
Yes.
Yes.
Not About Time with Justin Timberlake. Horrible movie, by the way. Don't watch it. In Time.
Yeah.
Romance, comedy. It's got Margot Robbie. It's got Bill Nighy. It's got everyone, right? Perfect cast. It's such a great story. Like, I don't know if it's realistic.
Yeah.
It borders on realistic and not, but it gets me every time. Like, I feel so good, like so happy, so bubbly when I watch that movie. It's like...
Is it worth watching?
I don't know how to explain it. Like, I think it's a personal thing for me, because like I don't see many people talking about that movie. Yeah. But for me, it's so wholesome. It just makes me smile every time. So I think it's got to be third.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's a solid pick. So that's Interstellar, Before Sunrise, and In Time. Pretty solid pick.
Yeah. In Time, only because of comfort. Yeah.
Dog, you gotta have a comfort movie in there.
Gotta have a comfort
Spider-Man 2 is my
Everyone
comfort
has
movie.
their comfort movie.
Yeah, right?
That you can just watch and it just makes you feel good.
I love Adam Sandler movies for comfort movies.
Yes. Grown Ups.
Grown Ups
I think Grown Ups is my most rewatched movie of all time.
Really?
Yes. I think I've seen it maybe 12 times.
Actually, that's valid. Because
so many times.
I aspire to have a life like the he does in Grown Ups too.
Yes, bro. Salma Hayek.
Dude, yeah. Maybe not like that, but I meant like the friends.
My bad.
The friends living. I said yes. I'm like, wait. What did you say?
No, but like the friends like through high school. You can just lifelong friends, and it's like you just do the craziest stuff.
That's my goal.
If
awesome. If we could all live together.
Even through fatherhood and having kids at the one point, like you can all still relate on that level, even like past school. Like that's a great thing.
I saw this statement the other day about sports movies. And how sports movies are bibliographical movies, like about people's lives. They're usually always about the underdog. You never have a movie about someone who isn't the underdog. If I asked you right now, if you had a favorite, like, I don't know if is bibliographical movie right? What's the right term for that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I don't know either, but
bibliographics like recounting real events.
Yeah, like if you had a movie like that was like your all-time favorite, what would it be?
Sports movie?
Doesn't have to be a sports movie.
Oh, okay, like a biopic. Okay.
Oh, yeah, biopic. Yeah, there you go.
A biopic. Yeah. So it's a dramatized version of a real event. Right? Well, if we're talking sports, I think undisputed best biopic movie is Coach Carter. I don't think that's based on real events, right?
Yeah.
Coach Carter, underdog story, Richmond High. had no chance of winning the championship. They didn't in the end.
But they did, right?
But they won in their hearts.
Yeah.
They were runner-up, which is good enough. Sorry, that's a bit cringe. No, the end of the movie is like iconic though.
They didn't. But they won in their hearts.
But they won in their hearts. They did. They did win in their hearts. They all achieved something through this coach. They all achieved, whether that was good academic standing or a future or...
They matured. Yeah.
They grew through this basketball team, through this journey to the championship where they fell short, but they didn't fall short in their lives. They have potential now where they didn't have potential before. So I think that's moving. That's really good.
Because I'd say Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness?
I feel like I'm repeating what we talked about. I talked about this in the last episode too, but Pursuit of Happiness is just such a fascinating movie.
Will Smith gives a great performance in that.
Right?
Yeah.
He's so good. But if we change... Maybe Pursuit of Happiness is a better example for this. But if we change that movie to have like a stuck-up jerk who maybe was the underdog, or just someone like personable like Will Smith who wasn't the underdog of the story, does that take away do you think it takes away like the realistic perspective or like the humanity of the movie?
I think humanity-wise, I mean, everyone could be a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has their faults. Everyone has their ups and downs. I feel like if you put a jerk at the center of a movie like that, as long as they redeem themselves and have desirable qualities by the end, it doesn't matter where they started. It's where they finish. It's where they end up with life, if their life has changed, or if they I don't know, what's an example?
Howl's Moving Castle? Have you watched Howl's Moving Castle?
I haven't, no.
In the movie, the guy, Hal, is a jerk at the start of the movie. At the end, he's a pretty solid dude.
Okay.
At the start, he's a jerk. That's the best example of what I can think of. He's such a jerk at the start.
Yeah. So, you can have unlikable characters in movies like that.
Yeah.
But as long as they show throughout the movie that they can be a decent person, like, even if they're not, like, fully ethical, high standing, like, a saint by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
As long as they have something either you can relate to that you may point out as your flaw, and you can think, wow, I can change because of that, or as long as they have something that you think is desirable by the end, having qualities that are like be respectful, or if they were untrustworthy, as long as like they've evolved from the start of the movie where they were that undesirable person, as long as they get to that desirable standard, I think it can be a great movie anyway. Because
I was thinking about it, and it's like, I don't know, the best example I can think of is LeBron James.
LeBron James.
But if you made a movie on him now, or like 3 years ago to now, would it be as interesting as, I don't know, some freshman basketball player playing college basketball?
3 years ago, he won an NBA championship.
But, like, he was already the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, well, okay, you're talking about, like, if someone's already at that high standard.
It's just not interesting.
There's nothing else to evolve to after that. He's been playing out of his prime for 5 years now. Yeah. Like, he's
still the GOAT.
He's still the GOAT, but he's got to give it up at some point.
Yeah.
But no, there's no development there. Like, the only development is the minor changes in his gameplay, right? If you were to go back to 2003 or whenever he was drafted, right, when he was a high schooler, right?
Yeah.
And he was considered one of the best in the nation. His story from, bless you.
Excuse me.
His story from high school.
Yeah.
He didn't play college. Wait, no. Yeah, he didn't play college. And he went straight into the NBA and proved himself. That would be a more interesting story because there's more development from coming through a lower ranked high school, Akron, St. Mary, St. Xavier. He came through that high school. They weren't, the best in the nation. They weren't anything. He went straight into the league and proved himself from day one that he is here to stay and he can play, right? If there was a movie made about his development through that, that'd be a good movie.
It's way more interesting.
Yeah, because there's more development.
The reason I'm asking about this is because a lot of sitcoms, which is what I want to talk about next. A lot of sitcoms have a character who starts off, he can be a jerk, he can be unlikable, he's a normal guy.
Yeah.
But the development throughout a sitcom is sometimes slow. It's a slow burn, but there's major development that occurs throughout. Maybe not classic sitcoms, because the whole point of a sitcom is the character stays the same, right?
Yeah, right.
But like shows like How I Met Your Mother, The Fresh Prince, or the first one, they change a lot,
Absolutely.
right? And that's what makes them appealing, right? But sometimes that change isn't a good thing, or it's perceived as a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why how I want to segue into How I Met Your Mother.
Yep.
We start the show off now Ben here is a massive How I Met Your Mother fan.
I've watched it like 6 times at this point. It's bad.
Dude, I can only get through it once. Ain't no way you got through all of it 6 times.
It's such a good show.
You watched the horrible ending 6 times.
It is a pretty bad ending. It's for the fans though. Like I feel like
It's for the
from day
which
one,
fans though?
No. From day one, from episode 1, you meet Robin, right? So I'm gonna spoil it, by the way. This is Can I spoil it?
Yeah, spoiler alert. My bad. Yeah,
Can I spoil
go
it?
for it.
Okay. From episode 1, you meet Robin, and you think that's the one for Ted. Like that's the one. They go on their first date, whatever. He blows it at the end of the night. You think, oh, it's done, right? They become friends. 9 seasons. It's this group, including Ted and Robin, and you never meet the mother until the last season. So the fans of the show, rooting through 8.5 seasons, they're saying Ted and Robin, that's the one. That's the relationship.
But I never rooted for Ted and Robin.
Well, because you know there's a mother lurking on the horizon.
Yeah.
Right? But in terms of characters, Robin's been so much more fleshed out, and you can root for her more than the mother, which you meet for like 10 episodes, and then you know what happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like some people liked it. I didn't personally, because like the whole show is How I Met Your Mother. Robin's not the mother. Like, but it's a decent ending. I think people hate on it. People love it, but no, I don't think it.
You think it's okay?
No, I don't think it's great.
I'm an avid hater. I've been watching it, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I think the mother's so like, perfect for him.
I love the mother. She's awesome. Tracy,
Right.
love her.
Okay, but I digress.
Sorry, here we go.
Barney. Barney is Womanizer 101.
Oh.
He's a horrible dude at the start of the show.
The most recent cancelled character.
Yeah. You know, honestly, I was thinking about it too. He's like the last... I don't know if it's the right way to say it, but he's like the last character that was like actively a womanizer.
Yeah, like misogynistic.
Misogynistic. Those were his qualities.
Yeah, like objectifying. Like, yeah, people don't really say like, oh, that Barney is such a horrible character.
Yeah.
Like people still, it's a funny show.
Yeah.
It's for the comedy, right?
But you can't do that now.
Can't do that now. If How I Met Your Mother was made nowadays, you can't put a character like that in a show.
But that was what made Barney.
Yeah, that's his whole comedic aspect.
Right, but talking about that change of a person, he changes a lot. Like he starts off as a jerk. He's a straight jerk.
Yes.
But he becomes really good. Barney's character, maybe we're quoting this as the last misogynist in sitcoms. Is Ted the same as him?
No, I don't think so. Not perfectly parallel. I think Barney influences Ted a lot. How they met, you know how they met, right?
I forgot.
Barney and Ted. So they meet in McLaren's bar. Barney says, Ted, I'm going to teach you how to live, right? And from that day, they've been, friends. They've been best friends. But also Marshall was a part of the equation. So Ted met Barney in his early 20s, I think, I want to say. So early 20s, he's still developing. Like, he's not fully grown. Like, he's not, who he's meant to be yet.
Yeah.
So Barney has had that influence since, early years, early dating years, stuff like that. And he's observed Barney from afar and seen his flaws and maybe things that work, right? So Ted himself is not a bad guy, but he, depends where you look at it, he has bad traits to start with. He has bad traits that have been, that have been brought onto him by Barney.
I saw a video the other day talking about how Ted is kind of like a toned down version of Barney's character.
Yeah.
And I think what you're saying about the traits is what they were talking about.
Yeah, I think both Ted and Barney end up having the same values, right? Marriage and like they're respectful people in the end. They have the same values. But I feel like Barney's values are dumbed down. They're more diluted in the start of the show, whereas he's compensating for his flaws through, misogynistic, womanizing, whatever that stuff. Whereas Ted, his values show more. You can see that he's a better person.
Yeah.
You can see that he's wanting a good life, and he has the values to be a good man. but then eventually throughout the show, the characters develop, and I feel like they have almost the same level of values in the end. They both turn out to be good guys, right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, they do. Barney turns out to be a pretty good guy at the end too.
Yeah. Like the way he proposes to Robin, so sweet, right? That's a Ted thing. So I think they influence each other in their own ways.
Yeah.
I feel like Ted is a good influence for Barney. Barney's a bad influence for Ted.
Yeah.
But eventually their values level out to who they're meant to be, you know.
And then that's where the show ends.
Yeah, that's where it towards the end. Yeah, that's where it gets to. I think the last season's not much about character development. It's more about the mother.
Yeah, the last season is just about the mother. It's just about wrapping it up.
Like 1 through 8, season 1 through 8. That's where that's where they end up.
Talking about the How I Met Your Mother, I think the show does a really good job at breaking down complex concepts into small, bite-sized, sometimes comedic episodes.
Yeah.
Do you have any instances where you agree with that?
Oh, yeah. Tell me, encyclopedic knowledge of How I Met Your Mother.
I mean, you kind of do that. This man's twisting through the pages in this thing.
I think, well, the well-renowned best episode of How I Met Your Mother is the one where Marshall's dad dies, right? It's an episode about grief. It's an episode about last moments with someone, and that's a big topic, right? It's a harsh topic, but it's broken down into a 20-minute comedic sitcom episode, right? It still hits, it hits home, and you can definitely relate to it. But there's a countdown throughout the episode hidden in the scenes. So it goes 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Until Marshall's dad dies, right? Yeah. And little Easter eggs for you, by the way. It doesn't really add to the episode. It's a countdown that people have pointed out. But I feel like
what is it in like the background?
Yeah, in the background. So there's like either a sign or like a billboard. There's a taxi driving past with the number 5 on it or something, like in mid-episode or something like that. I don't know. But there's different instances where there's numbers in the back and they count down. And the end of the episode is Marshall sitting on the stairs in front of his apartment and he's sobbing. No, Lily's sitting on the stairs in front of the apartment and she's sobbing. Marshall comes out of the bar and sees her all distraught, and they don't even have to communicate. She doesn't have to say, your dad died. She doesn't have to say that. She communicates that through non-verbal cues, because Marshall knows that his dad's had health issues and stuff like that, and he then reminisces on his last experiences with his dad, like when his dad came to visit last into New York, because he lives in Minnesota. They came to visit New York last, and what his last words were. And that's the whole next episode is his last words at the funeral. In his speech, he was going to say, these were my dad's last words, but he can't remember what they were, right?
I feel like he was really broken over that, right?
He was, because that's a big thing. I feel like people need some closure, especially in grief, whether it's, I don't know, a relationship or a death or something like that. People need closure, and final moments they can reminisce on and be proud of, because there's going to be no more moments, right? I feel like that's such a powerful thing, and they obviously put comedy in there, like it wouldn't be a sitcom without comedy, but they handle that issue really well, and it really moved me. I keep saying things move me, but it did move me.
Why do you think we want, as people, we want closure, or like, do we want to know their final words?
Yeah, it's you want closure because as I said, there's going to be no more moments, so you need something to look back on.
But their final words is such a specific thing.
Yeah, you also need a sense of understanding of how they feel, how this person was in their life. And Marshall's dad lived for 50 years, 60 years. You can't remember every word he says at every moment, right? So the last words, when people think of things, they think of either first or last things. They don't think of things in the middle, right? Like an introduction, a conclusion. They think about those, not the body, right? First and last words. So people always rave about first words, right? With babies, mama, dada, stuff like that. Yeah. Goo goo gaga, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, but last words are something easily accessible because they're recent. They stand out because they are the last of something. something in the middle would never stand out like that unless it's like really sentimental. But it always. You ever read a good like article and like the last sentence is really a kicker and it like makes you think?
I can't say I've read a good article.
Okay. You read like a good book and like you come to the end and like the last sentence is either like a cliffhanger or it's like a crazy like.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say, like the last,
like a good kicker, right?
Like in movies, the last scene is what sticks with you.
Yeah, it's like oh my god,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, but like it's like that, but toned down obviously because it's so it sticks out to you as last words instead of first words, middle words.
So we create like a definition of
sentimentality through the last of something. So when it's like your last day of school, it's like
that's a really good analogy.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, last day of school, it's never going to happen again. Like you want something to hold on to. You want that because that day sticks out. That's the last time you're going to be at school as a student, right? That's sentimental to you. So last words are similar, right?
Yeah, because like when I look back in school, I look back and I think of my last day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. When you look back on a loved one that's passed, you think, what was your last interaction with them? What did you say? Like, is this a moment you regret or is it something you love? Like something like that. It's something to hold on to. Yeah, and I feel like that's really powerful. And Marshall doesn't really get that, really, but
But that's important for his process of grieving, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And how he moves on. Because doesn't he come to the realization that the last words didn't
they
really
don't matter. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's years and years of love and all this stuff with his dad that were good. And does the last really matter? Like, he's lived a good life. Like, he's gone now, but nothing can change that anymore. So, like, you just have to live with it. Yeah, it's really powerful.
I agree. I think that was a really good example.
Sorry, I kind of talked myself in a circle, but...
No, I can't think of a better example. I was going to say, like, the baggage episode, but that's so lame compared to that.
I don't remember that one very well.
It was, I don't know, I was like, when
Everyone
I watched it,
has
I was a bit of a kid, and I didn't understand the concepts of baggage.
Like 3 years ago.
Yeah. Hey, cut me some slack, guys. It wasn't 3 years ago, no way.
Maybe like 4 or 5, I don't know.
Let's say 5 years.
Like 5 years.
It was an interesting way
to
say
it.
Yeah. Or, when Lily and Marshall break up.
Oh, man. See, that's the same thing with grief, but it's in a relationship form instead of a death form.
And that whole sequence of events.
Yes.
Is something I found warmth in, I guess.
Yeah.
Top 3 favorite sitcoms.
Top 3? Well, How I Met Your Mother's one, obviously. This is in order, by the way.
Yeah.
In order. Number 1.
1.
How I Met Your Mother. Number 2... Okay, maybe I'm not going to order my next 2. Number 1 is How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Followed closely by Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think is so rewatchable. Like, you can watch it so many times and it's still so good.
I've never watched it. I'm actually such an old.
You have to watch it. It's so good. The last season is a bit mid, but the rest of the show is awesome.
I need to watch it.
It's every episode just it's the best. Yeah. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, How I Met Your Mother. Sitcoms. So what's another sitcom?
I don't know. If it was me, I'd say How I Met Your Mother. Oh, I'd say Fresh Prince was my favorite.
Fresh Prince, I haven't seen that.
Then How I Met Your Mother. Then Modern Family.
Modern Family's good. Modern Family's good. Sitcom. Maybe. Big Bang Theory. Actually, that's my third. That's my third.
Yeah, that's fair.
Big Bang Theory. It's a classic because it's from like the early 2000s. It still hits today. Like it's Like there's so many iconic things like Bazinga.
Yeah.
Like everything is
Sheldon.
Is
just iconic in himself.
People make insults. Oh, you're just Sheldon Cooper right now. You're a nerd. Bro.
Yeah, right. Damn, Sheldon deserves better.
No, yeah, true. I'm glad they made Young Sheldon. That was a good show. That was a good prequel.
I never watched it.
Oh, it's good. It's really good.
My sister said it's really good though.
Yeah, Jacob and my brother and I binge watched it.
Yeah. Shout out Jacob.
when we were in America actually.
Oh, really?
On the planes and everything, we just watch a couple episodes here and there.
Did you finish the whole show?
Not in America.
Oh, okay. I've got to say...
We made it through like 2-3 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's only 20-minute episodes, so it's not that much. But yeah, it was a good show.
Talking about good shows, and really critically acclaimed shows that cause people to talk.
Yeah.
Adolescence,
new one.
I don't know if it's the talk of the town now, but a few weeks ago it was. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone wanted their 2 cents on it. Ben.
Yes.
We've spoken about Adolescence.
We have.
You had some... Let's start off with what did you think of the show?
I thought it was great, honestly. Like, genuinely, it all being in a one take was
I thought that was amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's respect to the film crew and the director and all the like production managers and all that. Props to them. It's not just the actors in shows and movies. It's everyone behind the
Exactly,
scenes.
yeah.
But I think the acting was still awesome as well.
Yeah.
It being in one shot is just the cherry on top. But I think there's so much more to the show. It's about a 13-year-old boy who gets accused of murder. And this is not a spoiler. It's revealed in the first episode.
In the first few minutes.
Yeah, he did commit the murder, right? And the show is not about him being acquitted or him being not guilty. He is guilty, but it's a show about the journey through guilt and how he got to that point and how it affects other people in his life. So every episode is a different setting. First one is him getting arrested. Obviously, you need some context. Him and his family, how it impacted them. Episode 2 is his school, his friends, his teachers,
The detectives,
the community, right?
Yeah.
The community. He's in this town. It's a community there is very strong. How it's impacted them. Episode 3 is about a psychiatrist coming in and talking to him. That's my favorite episode, by the way.
I think that's the most thought-provoking episode.
It is definitely.
Yeah.
There's so much meat there, and again, there's no plot, right? It's them in a room talking.
I don't think I could be that interested for 50 minutes.
But the plot is through their it's made through their dialogue. And another good example of plot made through dialogue. Have you ever seen 12 Angry Men?
I haven't.
It's from the 40s, I think.
Yeah.
1946. It's about this jury who has to make a verdict on this murder case. There's this this guy from the ghetto, from the hood, right?
Yeah.
He's being accused of murder, and these 12 white men, because it was the 1940s, have to decide whether he was guilty or not. And there's this room. It's an hour 30. They're in this room for an hour and 30 minutes.
Which is full. Hour 30. The whole movie's in a minute.
The whole movie's in a room, except for the last scene where they go outside and they there's a scene outside the courthouse, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But they're in this room for an hour and 30, and there's nothing but dialogue to take you through the case and why he's guilty, why he's not guilty. Make a case. You don't see the court case, you don't see the murder, you don't see anything else. It's only in this room, and the plot is built through the dialogue, and it's so effective.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to Adolescence.
Adolescence does a good job at that because it's like, I haven't watched 12 Angry Men, but it's like there's so many questions in your head, but you can still create a clear picture of what you think.
Exactly, because you never see the murder. You never see Jamie's life before prison, right? So you don't know what's happened. You don't know, is it true, is it not? Like, you do know that, but like, you still have questions. You still don't know. And the show closes open-ended as well. You never see him, you never see the verdict, like, you never see like what his fate was in the end. You never see where he ended up, you know, as a 30-year-old man, because he's only 13, right? It takes place over.
Would he have life? Is that how it works for
murder? I'm not sure in England. In the UK.
In Australia, do you know how much it would be?
In Australia, a life sentence is, they just upped it actually. I think it's either 20 or 25 years is a life sentence.
Yeah.
Before it was 15 years. Only 15.
Oh, that's not much.
Yeah, I know. So that's like a decade and a bit, decade and a half for murdering someone, for killing someone. There's obviously no death penalty anymore. But, I think it's, let's just say 25. Yeah. I think 25.
So that's still a long time for a kid.
That is, yeah. He'll be a fully grown adult when he's out. He'll have no childhood anymore. He'll have no relationships other than his family. Anything like that. It really impacts his life, not only his life, but everyone's life around him.
The impact on his family's life was something I thought was insane. I didn't think about that.
It was, because in the last episode, his parents have a discussion in their bedroom about, they keep repeating the phrase, "we made him," right? Because they raised him, they were his environment growing up, and they didn't realize that they were exposing him to all this like violence and horror, and social media played a massive role in that. And the phrase "we made him" from parents being disappointed in what they've created, what they've nurtured, is so powerful, because
were they disappointed though? Do you reckon they were disappointed?
Absolutely. Would you not be disappointed if your son
I don't
committed
think
murder?
I meant like disgusted maybe.
They weren't disgusted because he's their son.
Yeah.
They still love him, right? They're not just gonna completely forget about him. Like, they love him. He's still theirs.
Yeah, that was a stupid question. Were they
But-
disappointed?
But they're disappointed because no regular person is like this. No regular person goes out and kills people, right? It's horrible to think about, right?
Yeah.
But they're obviously disappointed because he committed murder. He committed something that's not ethically right at 13, mind you. And yeah, they just feel that they've failed him. They feel like they've not done enough. They've not done their job correctly. But they, in reality, they're a good family. They're from a, they're not broke. They're not like they're not anything that could lead him towards doing something like that. Like there was no bad parenting, bad environment, bad anything, but he still committed murder, which is crazy to think about.
When you talk about this with me, you told me that you think it's just fascinating how people can live the same lives.
Yeah.
Their environments can be, you could describe them as the same, and they end up doing these radical things that a normal person wouldn't do.
Exactly.
And Jamie, who's the boy from Adolescence, is a prime example of that.
Yeah. Especially at 13. Like, people grow up... See, there's always this question, are people born killers? Are people born bad, or do they become bad?
Yeah.
Is there evilness, within them, or do they absorb that evilness from what's around them and how they're raised, right? It's at 13, you'd think you're not exposed to anything, right? There's nothing's happened. Your life barely started, right? There's nothing that could lead you on an evil path, right? But it's the ignorance to social media and the impact of social media, especially, that's prominent in adolescence. And
yeah, what's your take on that?
I think social media is the main cause of his violence, of his murder.
In what sense, though? In the sense of like FOMO, his mental health,
I think
his perception of others,
unrestricted access to anything the world could offer, right? It's at such a young age, your brain's still developing, obviously. Like, you don't develop a fully grown brain until 25, 26, right? At 13, he's so impressionable to things that he sees online, like other people showing, showing their best lives and not their flaws. He's thinking, I have to be this good kind of thing. But that's not only just it. There's violence. There's adult media that a 13-year-old boy is absorbing and thinking that's okay. That's not okay though, because he sees these things and he thinks, wow, I want to do that. I want to blah blah blah, right? But it's horrible to think that pixels on a screen, right, just a phone, could impact someone's mental state so much that they just lash out and eventually feel so much violence that they murder someone, right?
That's crazy way to say it.
Absorbing that stuff from online, from unrestricted access. Anyone can talk to him. Anyone can make videos, and he can see those videos. Whether it's people make videos on like guns and knives and like all these things. There's so much violence on the internet. Whether it's warranted or not, he still sees that, and he has no control over that. But he absorbs that as his mind. His mind thinks that's acceptable.
As the norm.
He can do that kind of thing. It's crazy. I don't know.
Because episode 3 explores that a lot.
Yeah.
Like the thing that I thought was the craziest was when he's talking about why he murdered the girl. He harps on about how after he murdered her or stabbed her, he didn't touch her or anything. Or he didn't grope her.
Great. I was going to talk about that. Yeah.
That's in my head. It was so messed up on so many different levels. Because one, why as a 13-year-old boy is he even like thinking about those things?
Thinking about that, that's crazy.
2, his perception of the issue is that groping her or like touching her was a much worse issue than killing her.
Exactly.
He has no perception of like the value of life.
Exactly.
That's insane to me.
He has no perception of anything really.
Yeah.
He's not mature enough to know right from wrong. Like when you were younger, you got mad over things that like didn't really matter. You're like, let's just say you have a toy, right? And you and your sibling were sharing that toy, and you're like, oh, it's my turn. Like you got really mad, you lashed out, you like tantrum, stuff like that. at that age, you shouldn't have problems like this, like murder and like adult responsibilities that you have to.
Like what they call them in incel and stuff. Why are they talking about that? 13?
Incel, and how 80% of women are attracted to 20% of men or something. Like,
that was a crazy thing too.
Messed up. It's not like that's not rational at all. And having that as like your only mindset is weird when it comes to the other gender. Yeah, because
I didn't even know about the 80% of men. Women attracted to 20% of men thing. I didn't even know what it was in the show. And then they go to the school in episode 2, and it's like common knowledge. And I'm like, what is this?
All these year 8, year 7 people know about this one thing, and it's taking over the school.
Yeah, like why is this such a big issue? And why do these grade 8s and 7s and why do these kids that are so young know about it? It's
a bit weird.
It's not the way it should work.
Yeah, there's also a factor of cyberbullying in there. With nowadays with technology and everything, it's not just social. Well, it is social media, but it's the bullying that can occur online, and that's obviously ended in tragic ways for many people around the world. But yeah, using social media as a platform to bully people is not okay. I'm not going to blame that on the girl that he murdered, because obviously you shouldn't have murdered her. But there's also a perception that cyberbullying is like okay as well, because it's behind a screen. There's no consequences, right? Yeah. But there is consequences, and you see that through this as well. And
it's not. I think what Ben's trying to say is it's not like physical consequences of you get detention or you get like a slap on the wrist. Yeah. It's like the consequence is that you're killing someone's mental health. You're completely destroying their perception of an issue, or how they perceive the world. That's the consequence.
We think online is less serious than in person, but that's not true. It's still life.
Yeah,
and it's still people absorb this information, and it's not healthy for negative information to be shared in person or online.
The show's such a good example of like how impressionable we are to any sort of media,
especially kids. That's the thing. Kids growing up with technology.
Oh now, yeah, exactly. Like,
even people who are 30, 40 now, they didn't have phones when they were teenagers. Like we kind of did, I think.
I got my phone like
07, 08.
I think so.
I didn't get my phone till like
I had a phone in grade
14.
8.
No, 13. I was grade 8. Yeah, grade 8.
Yeah, grade 8 was when I first.
Grade 8 was I got my phone. That was because I was catching the bus. So I was like,
I had a phone too.
Need to call my mom, that kind of thing.
But I had Subway Surfers and stuff.
But I didn't have like Instagram. I had like WhatsApp to text people.
I think I got Instagram in grade 11. Or grade 10. I got it really late.
Yeah, I got Instagram in grade 10 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cousin set up an account for me.
But
I never post or anything.
To this day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I never post anything or anything like that. Like I message people, whatever. But people who phones are now established. They're high quality, and that everyone's got them now. Like you can't be a person without a phone, right? Basically.
Yeah,
and even
actually, phones are such a big. So phones and social media are such a big part of identity.
Your life is destroyed.
Right.
Because phone is like the center. Like you wake up, phone, right?
What are you gonna do without a phone?
Exactly.
That's actually really unhealthy.
It's a bit weird, but it's necessary nowadays.
The way I think about Jamie, I just thought about this now, is when you're a kid and you watch a TV show or a movie, like Batman movie or something, or Spider-Man movie,
and then you pretend to be.
And Batman. For the next week or two, it's like your brain has like rewired, so you just act like Batman.
Yeah.
Imagine this kid is continually exposed to media that isn't Batman or Spider-Man. It's like murder and like adults, because media and stuff.
Another point is his parents got him like video games, like a PC to play video games on, and he played shooter games, and that was the violence that he saw instead of like movies or something. That was the video games. But
you become so impressionable. Like when we were younger, when we were on holidays, I was so bad.
Here we go. Exposing him right now.
Play video games all day, every day.
Everyone's done it. Everyone's done it.
It was bad, but when I was younger, that's what I did. Like on the holidays, what else do? You got with friends. You're at home. You play video games. So it's the only way to stay connected with your friends. So I play heaps of video games, and like you play. When you do so much of something, it becomes something you think about so much. When you sleep, you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
pay
you
like
close your eyes and you like see it.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like Minecraft used to happen to me.
You saw everything square.
Yeah, and eventually it became Fortnite.
That's crazy.
I'm not addicted to video games.
maybe.
No. But no, I get it. Imagine him as a kid. He's young. He's young as.
Yep.
He's doing this for shooter games, and he's got all this stuff on Instagram that he's being addicted to. It's not safe for him.
No, it's not good.
Yeah.
And yeah, he acts like that's okay. Like that's his normal. His norm is shooter games or like I mean he didn't even shoot her, he stabbed her. So
but it's still a form of violence.
yeah, it's a form of violence and yeah, I'm sure he's seen a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Every day he probably sees multiple things.
Yeah. Like do you
violence.
think those shooter games change his perception of like what life is? Like you live but in the game he's shooting someone, killing someone, they respawn.
Yeah, they respawn. I think yeah. I mean, you'd have to be at next level of like idiopathic to think that
What does
people,
idiopathic mean?
an idiot.
Oh yeah. My bad.
To think that if you kill someone in real life, they respawn. Like that's stupid.
But if he's seeing that again and again, that's like his value.
Yeah.
Maybe he just he holds less importance to the value of life.
That is true. There's yeah. Would you classify him as a psychopath? Because psychopathy is the main thing of that is they don't value things as a normal human would. Their emotions aren't the same. Their values of life and death or good and bad aren't the same. They don't know what's right or wrong ethically, that kind of thing. So would you classify Jamie as a psychopath, you reckon? Because it's hard to tell.
Because he's a kid.
It's hard to tell because they never explore that really in the show.
They explore what a big concept to explore. They explore like his masculinity a lot.
Yes, yeah.
The concept of masculinity is a massive thing at the show.
Yes, and that comes to play with his dad. Yes, his dad.
That line in the last episode that got me. The line where he says, when he was raised by his dad, he was beat to a pulp.
Yeah.
And he told himself he never wanted to be like that, and he would never beat his child. But even though he didn't beat his child still ended up being a murderer.
Yes,
isn't that?
It's insane because it's a cycle of violence. Really, they always talk about this in respectful relationships and DFV, domestic family violence.
Yeah,
it's the cycle of violence. It's even though Jamie's dad's dad beat him and he swore not to do it, it's still a cycle of violence. And him ending up like that was not by chance. It's a cycle. And
what do you mean by the cycle of violence?
It's a cycle. Every generation, violence doesn't skip a generation.
Yeah.
If you're in that situation where there's domestic abuse, it's not going to end until something drastic happens. Someone makes a drastic change, right? I don't think Jamie's dad made a drastic change because there's this whole thing about, Jamie tried to play football, right? Tried to play soccer. And
Jamie's dad can look at him.
And masculinity is sports, right? You think masculinity is sports. Football, right? Football's a big thing in England. Most men care about it. Most men, worship it. And Jamie trying football and not being very good at it. And every time he made a mistake, his dad would look away and be ashamed of him and be ashamed of how people perceived him and Jamie. I think that added to his view of masculinity. If he's not good at sports, what is he good for, right? He feels emasculated by that.
And that was like step one.
That was, well, that's a minor thing, but it can have major impacts. It's not only abuse physically or anything like that. It can be emotional. It can be verbal.
Yeah.
It can be like, Jamie's dad has a temper, right? He shouts. He lashes out. In the last episode, he lashes out at some random teenage boy who spray painted his van. That kind of thing. And
valid crash out.
I mean, true. Like,
yeah.
Why you go to spray paint? He misspelt the word too.
Did he?
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
nonce is with a C, not an S. No, anyway, Jamie's seen this as he's growing up.
Yeah.
And he's seen that, and he's got a temper as well, Jamie. In the third episode, he shows his temper.
Yeah.
He shows that he can't be ruled by a female. He can't be told what to do by a female. The psychiatrist is female, and she tells him to sit down, which he doesn't listen to. He lashes out further. But when the male guard comes in the room and tells him to sit down, he follows. He's like, yes, that's an authoritative man who's telling me to do something. I'll do it because that he has power over me. Whereas he doesn't think women can control him, which is a whole nother thing.
Jeez.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
I work in an Osh care. This is going a bit off topic, but
Okay.
they value male educators because of that. Because a lot of young boys, especially, just don't listen
Don't listen to women.
to the female educators.
Wow.
And I don't know if it's like it's obviously not as drastic as what you're saying.
They're not going to grow up to be murderers.
Right, yeah. But on a small scale, the kids have such a big influence from their parents, and same-sex parents, like a son to their dad or the mum to their daughter, have such a drastic influence. So you're saying here that the small microaggressions and micro things that Jamie's dad did had such a massive impact on Jamie.
Yep.
It influences how he like reacts to different genders.
Yeah. Well, it's not genuinely, it's not like directly connected.
Yeah.
His dad's temper led to his temper, but also separate from that, because of social media as well, he's learnt that men are stronger, they're more powerful, they're in control, right? And he, as a man, wants to be in control and not be told what to do by women, not be dictated by women in his life, because he thinks women are weaker and more feminine. They have to do what he says, right? So when the psychiatrist,
He says that in episode 3, doesn't he? Sorry, but
yeah,
he like everything he says describing why he killed the girl is just like dancing around that point of how he thinks he can't be told what to do by a woman.
Yeah. Well,
do you think
the reason for him killing her was the online abuse, but also like the online bullying, but also when in the show the girl sent a nude picture to a classmate of Jamie's, and that classmate sent it around the school, and then when she was being called names and not being very popular because of that, Jamie thought to ask her out because she's at her lowest and she's
vulnerable.
Yeah, she's vulnerable, and he thinks his self-esteem is so low that he thinks now that she's down to his level, you know, he was already here, but she's been brought down to this level because of this, you know, bullying and not being popular or whatever, that he has a chance with her now. But that's not true. It's messed up. That's a messed up view to have, because you shouldn't target someone when they're vulnerable. You shouldn't act like they're not good enough. They've now been brought down a peg because of a mistake they made, kind of thing. And his thought of going to ask her out is kind of baffling, because it's not appropriate at all. But he just thinks now that she's on his level, he has a chance.
That reasoning, when he said that, it's like in Jamie's perspective, it made sense to me why he thought that. In like the progression of his thoughts and how he eventually leads to murder, it just made sense why he would initially think, now she's at my level, I have a chance with her.
Yeah, and then she obviously rejects him,
and his self-esteem is drastically lowered.
Yes, exactly. And then it's continued with the online bullying, and she's calling him an incel, and how he's never gonna, you know, he's gonna be alone forever, kind of thing. Like things that hurt, but like, you know, you can kind of get over them. But he doesn't, right? Because he takes it personally, and I don't know how he's made the jump to being a murderer, to murdering her.
I don't get that either.
That's such a drastic jump. Like no normal person. That's what baffles me is the jump from these minor things, like they're kind of minor, but they can be seen as major in this broader spectrum of like this broader context. But it's just the jump to that's what he thinks is necessary, is murder.
The only thing that I can think about is that he doesn't hold significance to life, which is why he makes the jump, because it's for us, we perceive it as a big jump, right?
Yeah.
He's going from someone bullying him to him killing someone, but for his perspective, he didn't hold significance to life in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's less of a jump for him. You know what I mean? Like maybe him jumping from like the bullying to assaulting her is a big jump.
Yeah.
But him to killing her is less of a jump because he doesn't hold significance to life.
Yeah.
That's the only reasoning I can have.
Yeah. Also in episode 3, he's saying, so I don't know what the context is, but he's saying something. He said, can I swear on this podcast?
Yeah, of course.
He said she was being a bitch, right?
Yeah.
She's a bitch. He said, I should have killed her, but I didn't. right? I don't know how we can throw around the thought of killing someone that easily. You should have killed someone. You should never kill anyone. Like, that's not okay.
But people say that all the time nowadays.
Yeah, I guess. But that's another thing. Like, it's become normal. As like, oh, I'll kill you. Oh, like, I should have killed you. Like, I hate you.
It's kind of like slang.
Kind of thing. Yeah, but in the context of Jamie, in this, he's talking to a psychiatrist who kind of determines his future, determines where he's going to go.
Why would he say that?
Yeah, why would he say, I should have killed her, but I didn't? I mean, he's saying he didn't, but he did. I feel like he's thinking he's going to get off. Like, he's going to be found innocent because, oh, I didn't kill her, but I should have, right? Like, that's in his mind, but it's not. Yeah.
Do you think he talks about how he should have killed her, but he didn't. And he goes on about how he didn't do it.
Yeah.
And, like, I didn't kill her for, like, the first 3 episodes. And only in the 4th episode he comes to realization. Yeah. And, like, actively makes the choice that he did kill her.
Yeah, and he pleads guilty.
Yeah, why does he say that he doesn't kill her when I mean, from what we've seen in the show, he did kill her.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a survival technique, I think. He's been put in jail because he's been accused. And in order to save himself, because he's the most important person in his life, right? In life, you always, prioritize yourself mostly. You think, what's best for me, kind of thing. If he's in jail, how is he going to get out? How is he going to be free again? What is the best for his personal benefit? And that's to lie and say he didn't do it and harp on about didn't do it. He's always going to plead innocent.
He's a kid too, yeah.
Exactly, and he's thinking, well, I did do it, but they don't know that, right? And I think I can get out of this, but he never does.
That show is such a baffling.
It's crazy.
Yeah. If you're listening and you have any thoughts about the show, put it in comments.
Definitely. Another thing, at the end of episode 3, he repeatedly asked the psychiatrist, what do you think of me? Do you like me? Kind of thing. Like, do you think I'm a good person?
He's seeking validation from, like, a feminine figure so often in the show.
And he needs, again, closure on, because that's their last session, right? The psychiatrist and him. He's saying, after all they've been through for 5 weeks or whatever it is, do you think, does she think he's a good person? Do you think, he's likable? Do you think he can actually get out of this? He wants to know if there's a chance he'll get out of this, but she never answers him because he gets dragged out of the room and he just says, "Tell my dad I'm okay," kind of thing. Yeah. That's the end of the scene, and I feel.
But the way he's screaming and
it is good acting. That was, I think that was take 2. No, it would have been take 2. It was take 2 of day 5. They only had 5 days for every episode. Yeah. They did two takes a day. Yeah. I think that was take 2 of the last day.
Oh,
and they got it. Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
It was scary. Did you find it scary watching it?
It was scary. It was so real. And I feel like the one shot really added to that because the one shot made it kind of...
You don't leave the tension. The tension sits there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like theatre. Theatre, like if you go to watch a show, that's all in one take. Like you can't cut and edit it and stuff like that. It made it more theatrical and more...
Like raw?
Dramatic, yeah. And more raw and dramatic, and I feel like that really added to the tension and the emotions, because you never stop emotions. Like in a TV show, they don't like cut between different plot lines, different storylines. It's this one plot line, and it keeps going, and you never leave it. And there's always emotional build up all the way until the end. And the end there is the end of the psychiatrist interview.
And I think the one shot does a really good job in putting us in the psychiatrist's shoes. Like, she's sat through that whole hour of the session, thinking and witnessing the same things we've just thought and witnessed. And now she's sitting in, like, her own confusion, like, that tension of, like, what the hell just happened.
Exactly.
And then he's out there, like, shouting at her, like, and then it scares you, because you're, like, getting pulled out of it, kind of. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Because in episode 3 starts with the psychiatrist walking into the prison, and then it ends with her alone in the room, right? So you're always following the psychiatrist's perspective. You're never with Jamie. Yeah. The camera never follows Jamie.
And at this point, he's so alienated from the average viewer. Can you even relate to him? You can't.
You can't. No. Yeah. Because no one's ever been in the position where they're in jail. Well, some people may have, but like regular people aren't in jail getting
as a 13-year-old too.
By a psychiatrist. They're never in that position. But the point of the episode is not to relate anymore. It's to show the psyche of Jamie and how he thinks and how his mind works, kind of thing. That's the whole third episode.
The sandwich. We talked about the sandwich.
Yes.
We haven't talked about it yet here.
No.
What is the sandwich?
See, I think the sandwich is a symbol, right? She comes into the room with a sandwich and a hot chocolate. The hot chocolate doesn't mean anything, but the sandwich, right?
When he slaps the hot chocolate across the room, it's kind of...
Does he? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the sandwich is, what is it? Pickle and egg or...
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. It's some...
Why is she eating that sandwich?
I wouldn't eat it, personally.
You know what? He's like... That was the only relatable thing about JB in the episode. When he's like, what sandwich? A pickle and egg? Yeah, nah.
Yeah, no, that ain't me, bro.
Valid.
No, but the sandwich coming in is whole, obviously. It's wrapped in a packet. Jamie says, I don't think I'll like it, but I'll give it a try anyway. Halfway through the episode, there's a pause in the dialogue. He takes a bite of the sandwich, takes one bite, and I don't think he likes it very much. You can see it by his face. He places it back on the table, and then that sandwich is left throughout the whole of the interview.
As he's freaking out. For people who haven't watched it, it might go watch it first. But for when you're following, he's in the psychiatrist's office, and in the context of the episode, it starts off pretty tame.
Yep.
Then he has episodes of periods where he starts freaking out, and it feels like he loses control of his emotions. And then he starts talking about his motives of why he's done this, and then he's placing significance on not holding any value to life.
Yeah.
And he's going between this, like, he's logical and he can be talked to these periods of he is illogical and he's just so emotion, like, there's so much emotion he just can't control. Yeah. That's the context, by the way.
Yeah. Awesome. So the sandwich comes in whole, and then it leaves with one bite taken out of it. I believe the sandwich is a symbol of the psychiatrist and her views on Jamie, or her mental well-being even. She comes in brand new, she's ready to talk to Jamie. She thinks it's going to be, whatever, it's going to be a regular, this is her last session, she'll just wrap it up, whatever. Comes in whole, comes in feeling confident. At the end, you see her kind of have this emotional breakdown, kind of, in only 20 seconds. You see all of her internal thoughts come out when Jamie's left the room.
Like, what, she has a tear for
She has a tear, yeah. It's really, you can feel the emotion of, you can think, how would you be in that situation? You've just seen this 13-year-old boy that's definitely committed murder, and you can see that now, and you thought there may have been a chance at the start, but now that chance has slipped away because of all this stuff that's happened, right?
Her journey in the episode is like the viewer's journey, because at the end of episode 1 I was like, oh, surely he didn't surely he didn't do it, like, surely there's something wrong and you'll figure out in episode 2 or 3, no, but he damn well did it, like, and in episode 3 it's like you come to the realization he definitely killed her.
Yeah. And then episode 4 is just the conclusion of he's gonna plead guilty. There's some closure for the audience, but not really.
Yeah.
It's
still a lot of, like, what ifs.
Left open-ended. It's up to interpretation, kind of thing.
I think the parents' relationship with him is even more tragic than the psychiatrist. Psychiatrist had this short influence, and her mental state was, like, completely altered.
Yeah.
But the parents, it's like, I cannot imagine the grief they go through thinking that they raised a son to be a murderer. I cannot imagine.
Yeah. See, to be in that position is someone's worst nightmare. It's everyone's worst nightmare.
And then to also be in that position and then have, like, the public blame you.
Yes.
I could not.
It's not even a hidden case, or it's not like behind closed doors. It's out in the open. It's up to public opinion, and people nowadays more than ever have valued what other people think of them and their perception, how they're perceived by other people, and to have that just thrown out, in public is like your worst. At your worst, being thrown out in public, your son's a murderer, and now you're being blamed. That's your lowest point in your life. That's got to be. And it's just thrown willy-nilly in public, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's horrible. I would never want to experience. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy.
To wrap up, Ben.
Okay.
There's a story, or not even story, there's a mascot we have in this podcast called Pip. Now, funny story.
Yes.
Pip has actually been adopted by Mr. Ben Fowler here. And Mr. Ben Fowler has passed on Pip to be adopted by me. And when I say Pip, I mean the actual Pip. There's an actual mascot. Pip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the host of the Everything Is Said About podcast forgot to bring Pip today.
Who's that?
Yeah, bad form on him, right? I don't know who that is.
Nah.
Pip will be debuting in our next episode. Stay tuned for that. But Thank you, Ben,
Of course.
for donating Pip. I'm sure
Yep.
Pip's gonna live. I mean, Pip's not living the best life right now, but
Pip's probably stuffed in a drawer somewhere. You're keeping it hostage.
no, Pip's sitting on my table. Don't
Oh,
worry.
okay.
Yeah,
Keeping it hostage still.
No, Pip is living a better life in
No,
my
I'm kidding.
room than he is in his actual life right now.
Well,
on the
is
side.
his life that good? Given the story,
Exactly.
I don't know. He's been through a lot.
For those of you who haven't followed, Pip started off as a normal. I could say normal. He was born in a duck family with 4 other brothers. All his brothers were black. He was pink. Obviously, Pip had some weird feelings about that, so he goes in his emo phase. He doesn't know what to become. He's thinking about becoming a doctor, or a Air Force pilot, or a stripper. I don't know why stripper.
Yeah, a lot of options too.
A lot of options. Eventually, he gets a girlfriend. The girlfriend cheats on him at a strip club, so he goes and joins in the Duck Navy. But when he goes on holiday after being in the Duck Navy, he sees his ex-girlfriend again with her new boyfriend. And even though he thinks he's moved on, he could not hold it back. And
Still
he
got
gets in
feelings.
the fighter pilot that he has. He bombs the hotel that the ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend are staying at.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't caught up. Oh my gosh.
Right? And then it gets worse.
Okay.
And
it's not done.
after this, Pip and now his best friend Iceman, who's being introduced now, on the beach chilling. Pip is
Iceman.
content
I like that.
in having gotten over his emotions of his ex-girlfriend. But then his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend just arise
Like
from
a phoenix
the sea.
from the ashes.
Yeah, they just get resurrected in the
From
sea.
the sea.
Yeah.
The ocean.
The ocean.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, not to see that.
No. Yeah, like you're saying the sea, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ocean, like water.
He sees the sea.
He sees the sea, and they resurrect from the sea.
See the sea, and then the ocean is the sea.
See the sea on the sea.
See.
Oh no.
No, the ocean. They get resurrected from the ocean.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then in our last episode with Ollie and Adrian, they created the banger of an ending,
Okay.
which they had some
It's ended.
not
Okay.
not an ending, like the next part of the story,
Okay. Sure.
where they've said that as the ex-girlfriend comes out the water, she raises her wings, and every other person in the hotel that was killed by Pip starts to resurrect from the ocean too. And then she moves her wings forward, and a massive tsunami starts coming towards the beach. So, Iceman
Hell no. What is the story?
I know. Iceman, who is Pip's best friend,
Okay.
turns out to have powers like Frozone, and he
Hell
creates
yeah.
like an ice path, like Frozone does in the
Nice.
in the Incredibles movies,
Yep.
for Pip and Iceman to run across. And for some reason, the beach has a runway right next to it, and the fighter pilot jet is parked on the runway. So they're running to the fighter pilot to get in the fighter pilot as
Yep.
everyone is resurrected and now has a vendetta against Pip, and a massive tsunami is coming.
So there's a bunch of ghosts.
Yeah,
Chasing.
or they're like zombie
Undead
ocean.
people.
Yeah, undead people, like the drowned. in Minecraft.
chasing Pip and Iceman.
Yeah, as
to
they're
the
running towards the
fighter jet.
They're like walking slowly. They're like zombies, and as a massive tsunami is coming too.
Massive
So,
tsunami
yeah.
coming towards the shore. Okay. Whoa.
So each guest will leave the next thing that happens to Pip. So Ben, what happens next?
What happens next? Wow, I mean, I don't know how I can top
Right?
zombies.
I was very impressed by Ollie and Adrian's.
That's crazy.
Okay, I'll give you. Ollie was like, you should make Pip die in the tsunami,
Make
but then
Pip
get
die.
resurrected with like Superman powers.
Yeah. Because apparently that can happen in this world.
Yeah, apparently it can.
Okay, Pip is racing towards the fighter jet.
Yeah.
Zombies chasing him. Tsunami coming in.
Yeah.
He's at his lowest point, right? Out of nowhere, the Duck Avengers come out from the sky. They all fly down. Iron Goose and Quacked in America. Iron Goose and Quacked in America
Yeah.
use their shield for Quacked in America, and Iron Goose uses his lasers to obliterate all the zombies, right? But the tsunami's still coming, so they wipe out the zombies. They're all gone. No, they have no threat.
Yeah.
They're all dead now. They're not undead. They're dead.
Yeah.
Tsunami's still coming in. How do we stop it, right? The Duck X-Men come in.
Oh, I think you're gonna do.
The Duck X-Men come in.
Yeah.
Storm's a mutant, right?
Yeah.
Storm changes the weather, right? Tsunami goes back out, blue sky, they're all saved, right? Fighter jet is destroyed from the tsunami that's almost come in, right?
Yeah.
How do they get out of there? Iron Goose flies him all the way back to his house.
Oh, he's gonna ignore the fact that Pip is a wanted murderer?
Okay, because he's a wanted murderer.
Yeah.
He goes off the grid.
But so the Duck Vengers aren't gonna...
No, the
arrest
Duck
him.
Vengers... No, the Duck Vengers are on Pip's side, right?
Oh, why? But he's a wanted murderer.
But he's done for the greater good.
Killing it. Go.
No. No. Iron Goose goes rogue.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is so makeshift, by the way.
Okay.
Iron Goose goes rogue from the Avengers. He's also a murderer, right? So he's like, let's save ourselves. Him and Pip and Iceman joins the Avengers. He's Iceman.
Yeah.
He can control ice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Anyway, Iron Goose goes rogue.
Yeah.
With Pip, they go off grid. They're in a secluded cabin in the woods. What happens next?
Oh, okay. So to recap, everything seems lost. Then the Duck Vengers show up from the sky.
Yes.
We have Iron Goose and Quacked America. Quacked America and Iron Goose use their lasers and the shield to destroy all the
zombies.
Every zombies. So they're all gone now. Like the ex-girlfriend is actually dead.
Obliterated. Yes, she's in the grave.
Also, we think for now.
For now, well,
yeah,
we could see.
So they're dead.
Yes.
Then the Duck X-Men show up and Duck Storm uses her powers to push the tsunami back.
Yes.
All seems well, but turns out Iron Goose is also a murderer.
Yes.
So he picks up Pip, who's also a wanted murderer,
Yes.
and flies away to a secluded cabin in the woods.
Yes.
And Iceman, Pip's old best friend, joins the Duck Vengers in Iron Goose's place.
Yes.
What happens next?
Ben,
it was a pleasure having you on.
Of course. Thank you for having me,
so
Shaman.
much.
This was amazing.
It was good. That was a crazy ending.
That was. I don't know.
Looking forward to next episode to see what people say.
We'll see where the story goes.
Yeah.
You know, Pip is a real person, by the way. Now.
Yeah, Pip will be in the next episode.
He's real life.
Yeah.
This is not a story anymore. This is real life.
Real.
So we'll have to see where his story goes.
Line.
Lives on the line.
Exactly.
We'll have to see where it goes.
Exactly.
All right.
Thank you very much for tuning into this episode. Don't forget to follow Everything Is Said About on YouTube or in Spotify, wherever you're watching. Also, follow Everything Is Said About on Instagram at everythingetc.podcast. Right up here. Go give it a follow. You can't see it in the podcast video, but in clips you will be able to see it.
See it on this camera.
I look forward to seeing you next time. I look forward to seeing you again too, Ben.
Of course.
It's a pleasure. We'll see you next time on Everything Is Said About.
Thank you.